Probably next week it'll be done.
Good. just have to get this one.
All right, tell me when.
And you're on.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the March 10, 2022 East Amwell Township Committee meeting.
In compliance with the Open Publics Meeting Act, this is a regular scheduled meeting pursuant to the resolution adopted on January 3rd, 2022, with the meeting notice published in the Hunterdon County Democrat issue of January 13th, 2022. A copy of the agenda for this meeting was forwarded to the Hunterdon County Democrat, Times of Trenton, Star Ledger, Courier News, posted on the bulletin board, and filed in the Township Clerk's office on March 7th. Ms. Casper Bloom.
Here.
Mr. Mills.
Here.
Ms. Ramsey. Mr. Wolf.
Here.
Mr. Castellano.
Here. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Krista, agenda?
For agenda review, the PTO caller run date is changed under announcements. Update on Van Luz and Rainbow Hill Roads are added under unfinished business. A resolution for temporary emergency appropriations was added under consent agenda. And we will be removing and tabling to the April meeting the unfinished business amendments to holiday schedule.
John?
Okay, just a few announcements this evening. The annual dog licenses were due on February 28th without a penalty. It's after the 28th, as you know. Dogs registered after March 1st will be charged a late fee of $25 per dog, along with the cost of the license. Contact the clerk's office at 908-752-8536, extension 10, for further info. The Hunterdon County Utilities Authority will hold an electronics waste collection on March 19th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hunterdon County Complex at 314 Route 12, Flemington. Contact number there is 908-788-1351 for details. Municipal offices will be closed on April 15th in observance of Good Friday. Here's a few save the date events coming up here in East Amwell Township. Parks and Recs Committee will hold the annual Easter egg hunt Saturday, April 19th at Clausen Park, 11 o'clock sharp. AM, that is, and it's open to East Amwell children in the 5th grade and under. Township-wide community yard sale weekend is scheduled for April 23rd and 24th. Please sign up on the Township website. With regards to the Recycling Committee, they are announcing that the annual Spring Cleanup Day will be Saturday, April 30th, from 8 a.m. to noon at the municipal parking lot. Permits are available through the clerk's office, or you can get them on the day of the event. An electronics recycling event will be held on April 2nd at the recycling depot in the municipal parking lot. Details of acceptable items will be posted soon, so be on the lookout for the Township website posting and Facebook pages. And the Grange is holding their Spring Craft Market on Saturday, April 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And lastly, Wirtsville Road between routes 202 and Rocktown Road will be closed for a period of time on May 7th for the East Amwell Township PTO Color Run. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we proceed through the meeting. So, that's a wrap.
There's a date change on that, the PTO run, right? So, yeah, we'll bring that up. All right, next, we got approval of minutes, January 18th. Everybody had a chance to review. Any questions, comments? Can I have an motion to approve the January 18th, 2022 special budget meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, sorry. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Moving on to the February 10th executive session minutes. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I have to abstain, I believe.
Yes. All right. Anyone opposed? All right. Moving on, February 10th, the regular minutes in the meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the February 10th meeting, minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, moving on to February 25th, special executive session minutes. Can I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
All right, yep. Anyone opposed? All right. And lastly, the February 14th special budget meeting minutes. Tough one. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
John, you weren't there. You weren't there.
You weren't there.
You have to recuse yourself.
Yeah, you gotta recuse.
Abstain.
Abstain.
You weren't there.
I'll abstain then.
All right. All right, can I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Anyone opposed? No. All right, we have a special presentation tonight to a group called Hope Force International. Basically, they are a Christian response team that responds to disaster events that happen here in the United States and abroad, reaching out to those who are experiencing suffering and loss. The motivating purpose of Hope Force is to equip willing responders and mobilize them onto pathways of service. Hope Force International trains volunteers in advance so they are prepared and allowed to respond, often in restricted areas when disaster strikes. Their main commitments are preparing for disasters through training and equipment, immediate response and relief, recovery and development, and reaching areas of chronic pre-existing need. Tonight we have Sheila Hallam, who's a member of the Three Bridges Reformed Church and is a reservist with Hope Force. Sheila went to Louisiana. Sheila, can you just raise your hand so everybody sees? Thank you. Sheila went to Louisiana in preparation for Hurricane Ida, not realizing at the time Hurricane Ida would be so destructive here at home. She spent time in Louisiana helping residents and all the while coordinating with Stephanie Hutchins to get help locally as soon as possible. Within days of Sheila returning from Louisiana, Hope Force reservists, partnering with churches and local volunteers, were starting the demolition work on many of the affected homes here in East Amwell. The group worked on homes on Lewisowitz Road, Lindbergh Road, and Cider Mill Road, as well as homes in nearby towns. So in addition to recognizing Sheila and Three Bridges Church, I'd like to acknowledge the Three Bridges Reformed Church again, Colts Neck Reformed Church, the Harlingen Reformed Church, Clover Hill Reformed Church, and Rockaway Reformed Church. They're all partners with Hope Force. Trained Hope Force reservists came to East Amwell from all over the United States, including New Jersey, New York, South Carolina, North Carolina, California, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Oklahoma. And the amazing thing is that all of the people that came here came at their own expense, and taking time off from their regular jobs and spending many days away from their families. So if anybody wants more information about Hope Force, you can go to their website as www.hopeforce.org. And one final note, Hope Force assessment team is traveling to Romania this weekend to meet with partners there in an effort to determine how they can provide assistance to people in that region. The goal of the team will be to identify needs and create a pathway of meaningful service for Hope Force reservists and other volunteers. So with that, we have a special proclamation for her, saying that basically resolution thanking and recognizing the efforts of Hope Force International and the mission team at Three Bridges Reformed Church. Whereas the Township of East Amwell and its residents were devastated by the damage wrought by Hurricane Ida in September of 2021. And whereas said devastation ruined homes, property, and livelihoods of many East Amwell residents. Whereas Hope Force International, a volunteer organization found it to aid those whose lives had been uprooted by natural disasters around the world, came to East Amwell and assisted numerous resident cleanups and rebuild and recovering from Hurricane Ida. And whereas the mission team and members of the congregation at Three Bridges Reformed Church, as well as numerous partner churches throughout the United States, coordinated, organized, and assisted Hope Force in helping the affected East Amwell residents with their recovery effort. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Committee of East Amwell extends its most sincere gratitude to Hope Force International, Three Bridges Reformed Church, and the numerous partner churches for helping East Amwell residents overcome the devastation of Hurricane Ida. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be presented to Sheila Hallam by order of the mayor. We have Sheila. So, we're going to present this, and thank you. And we have many residents here who've helped, so thank you very much. And here you go. Thank you very much. Can we actually have some of the residents that actually, Liz?
Sure. So Sheila and her team came and helped my grandmother when her whole house was basically trashed through this. And it was just, it really just shows how great, how like, the good people that there are out there that come and drop everything to do it. And it's amazing, and we thank you. And, you know, it's just, I'm sorry. We appreciate everything you guys did, we really do. Thank you.
May I?
Sure, Bob.
Sheila and your entire crew that you assembled, and I don't know how you do this, but you don't know how greatly appreciated this is from our family. You know, the demolition was, I mean, just the hours that you guys, the crew spent, I just can't describe how wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Sharon, you want to say?
We actually just moved back into our house this week. Would not be anywhere near where we are right now had they not stepped in and helped us, and all of the people in the township who helped us. We are just grateful to everyone for everything. It's just been amazing. Thank you.
Bless America.
Thank you.
All right, now, I need a motion to approve the proclamation.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Sheila, yes.
can I just say that we couldn't have done what we did without you. There's a big difference between us volunteering and going somewhere else where people have all the equipment and all the know-how and we just show up and help, compared with launching it here. And I was in Louisiana, so without, you know, Stephanie and Allison and everybody and how they organized your whole township to support Sharon and Rita and everybody that we served, we couldn't have done it. So thank you so very much for your part in what we did. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Can I have a motion to approve the proclamation?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so be it. Thank you, everybody, for coming. You know, I know it's inconvenient or whatever, but hopefully you'll be in pretty soon. You know, weeks.
Soon.
Mid-April, we're hoping.
All right, moving right along. Is
I don't see them.
Pat not here? All right, so Pat's not here.
They're not presenting, but West Amwell Construction's here.
Oh, all right.
This is the construction official. I call him Buddy, but this is Phil Rosso
Oh, we've met.
and Gail Brewy. They just wanted to introduce themselves.
Oh,
If you have
okay.
any questions or.
took a chair without the.
Hello,
Hi,
Gail, how are you?
I'm Gail, yep.
Phil Rosso, the construction official, West Amwell Township.
and we're just here basically for a meet and greet. And I think you have a copy of our year-end report, I hope.
I have extras. Do they have it?
It's in the drive, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we thought, since we were doing the annual report, that it would be a good time to introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about the department and what we do for East Amwell. Basically, our department consists of, there's 5 of us, 5 licensed people in the department. Myself as the office manager, and I'm a certified technical assistant. And then we have the construction official. We've got a building subcode official and inspector, who is also Phil. Electrical, plumbing, mechanical, and fire. So our operational hours, we're there Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 3:30. And we conduct inspections essentially every day of the week. Phil does them Monday through Thursday. The guys alternate, but we are there for the residents. And the other thing that we just want to let you know is that during COVID, when most of these municipal offices were closed, our offices were open. We were only closed that short period when it was mandated by the state. So we made provisions where most offices were operating out of outside drop boxes locked. We were there for the residents. We were there for the contractors. Surprisingly enough, when nobody could travel, vacation, or do anything else, they were improving their homes. They were spending their money on, permits and putting in pools and sheds and pole barns, and so it was a rather busy year for us.
Still going.
Yes. We'd also like to thank Krista. Krista works very closely with us as the zoning official. And so her and I are in constant communication because either I'll get stuff that requires zoning, or, they'll come over here and, Krista will have questions for us. So really, we just wanted to see if you, had any comments, questions,
Concerns.
explanation of anything that's on here. But we're really just here to, thank you for being able to service the residents. We're here.
Is there anything that we should be passing on as a committee to our residents to make their process any easier? Are there issues that you guys routinely run into through the permit process?
Anything you can think of?
How are we doing, in other words?
Yeah, no, there's no.
The residents are great to
Yeah.
deal with, actually. They're very friendly.
there's-
They're proactive, actually.
Right.
Most of them will call our office ahead of doing a project and want information and want to know what they have to do. A lot of times it does start with Krista because, most things involve a zoning approval. But after that,
We try to make it more convenient so they don't have to come back and forth.
Right.
So I fax or I email everything to Gail. So the residents don't have to come back here.
That's good.
Yeah, so, no, the process is working very well. Our office is set up to be very resident-friendly now. We are in our permanent home. Downstairs, we have meeting space. Some of the new things that we're doing is the construction official is now offering 2 days a week to have pre-construction meetings or just chats with residents who want to discuss what a project is. A modular home versus, a stick-built home and things of that nature. Our township committee did recently approve additional help. So we did add an assistant. Yes, it has been crazy busy. And, as always, there's difficulty with phone calls and, but I'd like to think that we're pretty responsive, and for the most part, people are happy with us. We did add new software, which we were forced to. Unfortunately, the state eliminated providing us free software. And so that's working out pretty well for us. So you're going to see our reports develop a little more, and you'll be able to get more information. So that's why if there's information you would like to see that you don't see here, just let us know. And if there's a way to get it, we will. And you'll start to see more comparables. The software also allows our inspectors now to do things from the field. They're currently doing it on personal phones, so we're hoping to move towards getting an expenditure approved for tablets for everybody in the field. But residents also can go online. We have an online portal. They cannot make applications online because we can't receive plans that way. Our offices are too small to invest in that kind of technology. But they can check the status all the way through from the time of permits received. They can view inspection results. The inspectors from the field can put valuable information in there, photos, notes, etc. So the software, although an expenditure, is turning out to be a large advantage to us.
We had to do it, state mandated.
Yeah.
Did any funding come with it?
No.
Of course not, right? Anybody got any questions, comments? Krista?
No, things have been going really well.
Financially, how is the office doing? Are you guys breaking even?
So if you look at your report that we have there, last year we were in the negative. This year you'll see that we're breaking even.
And
Yes.
last year, how far in the negative were you?
Ooh, do you remember? It was single digits. How far in the negative were we?
Last year, no, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
But,
No,
yep. So, and some of
it's
the,
not in there, right?
last year,
You didn't show
no,
that.
I did not show this year versus last year, but I can get that for you, Rick.
And does the number reflect the $5,000 that East Amwell puts in each year?
Yes,
Okay.
it does. That's added into the total expenditures that's listed there.
Okay.
Yes. Yep,
If it's not inconvenient, I wouldn't mind seeing the numbers.
sure.
Thank you.
The comparison to last year.
Yeah, I'd like to see last year if you have the year before. And then
I do.
this year it's kind of early, so.
The bottom line numbers I have from the prior years, year to year on some of the detail, I do not because our software didn't allow that before, but the revenue I certainly do.
Now, people are on a remodeling binge.
They are.
Why did the office lose money last year? I would have thought last year would put you into the black.
In 2020, we did, because that was the year that we had to initially buy the software, and it was a large hit to us.
But what about, why 2021?
2021, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
You went positive.
Correct.
By how much?
By 81.94.
$81.94 or
8,100.
$8,000?
$8,194.
And does the township carry that over, or do you start each year fresh?
No, so that gets carried over, and that's what we're supposed to utilize to operate
Okay,
the office.
so you'd be starting 2022 with an $8,000, roughly $200 positive balance.
That's correct.
Okay,
And hence, the new office assistant started January 1st,
okay. And the new office assistant is a part-time?
part-time, yes,
Okay.
yes. 3 days a week, 2 half-day and 1 almost whole day. So, local resident.
And are you looking to take on any other municipalities to help spread the cost, or are you maxed out at east and west?
I don't know if we really compare, we don't really get information from other municipalities, so. I don't know, we don't usually judge.
Well, no, I was just focused on, right now, there's a shared service agreement between east and west.
Right.
I was wondering if you were looking to do shared service with any other municipalities to bring on additional work, additional revenue, assuming you have the capacity to handle the additional work.
I don't think we'd be interested going to another municipality. We're busy enough with what we have.
Okay.
So we brought on the extra help just to kind of stop the wave, because it's kind of crazy out there, the amount of work that's going on.
Well, the reason I'm asking is if that office goes into the red, right now we pay $5,000 a year as part of the shared service. If that office went into the red, then West Amwell might be knocking on our door for more than that, so I'm trying to figure out if I should be anticipating a bump at some point, but it sounds like, at least for now, the office is gonna break even, or maybe even do somewhat better than break even.
Correct, we'll do better than that. We're not actively seeking another shared service. You know, our number one goal is is customer service and maintaining regulations and being in compliance. And so, you know, that's why we brought on the other person. The year before, when we were in the black, it's because of the large investment into the software. You know, and although the state had preempted it and told us, you know, we didn't go with the top of the line. You know, we investigated 4 or 5 different software companies. We wanted the new technology and some of the perks to the residents and to the inspectors, but we signed up for what we could afford. So I wouldn't anticipate us coming to East Amwell in any way asking for more with a shared service, should you know, want to continue that.
Okay.
We certainly do,
Certainly
so.
not in the near future, the way things are
Right, you
going.
never know what things will be like 3 or
Yeah.
4 years from now. It could turn and everybody's sitting around twiddling their thumbs
Yeah.
because no one's doing. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it.
Based on the zoning that's coming out of Krista's office and our office, I don't anticipate a slowdown anytime in the near future. The projects are just getting bigger and continuing to grow. So.
Yeah,
So
we've
is the
heard-
cost of lumber.
Which is why, when you look at this, you'll see there was a lot of growth in plan review that was done and permits that were issued, but the issuance of certificates dropped slightly from last year, and that's 1, because of COVID, and 2, because there are so many delays out there.
Yeah.
Cost of lumber, lack of materials, et cetera. I mean, generator jobs, you know, the generators are like 6 months out.
Right.
You know, so people are pulling the permits for them, they have the permit, but it can't
They
be
don't close
installed
them
yet.
out. You know,
Right,
they're closing them out much later than.
right.
Yeah, but people have been happy. I mean, the feedback that I've gotten, people are happy. Smooth process, right?
Yeah, and when there's not so, we have a great communication process, so.
Anybody else? Well, thank you for, well,
We're
we're
not
not
open.
really open to the public, Tim.
I would just like to say, as the chair of the planning board, every time I have to come over to see you guys, everything's taken care of, and I appreciate all you do for us.
Thank you.
I really do.
Thank you.
All right, run for the door now. No, thank you very much for coming in.
No
All
problem.
right?
Thank
And-
you. And if you ever want us to come back or, you know, on a topic or any other questions, I'll get you that information.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Sonia.
It's not urgent, Gail, whenever you have
Yeah.
time.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
I know these faces, and I think you might remember mine from 2-3 years ago when I was here last on this very topic, and it's great to be back here on this topic again. So I am here on behalf of the PTO of the East Amwell Township School. The PTO is once again organizing a color run, which is scheduled for May 14th. We did have a date changed. I think most people here know about the color run, since this would be the 3rd color run that we would be holding. But in case you do not know what the color run is, it's a fundraising event for the PTO, but it is so much more than that. It is truly a day of celebrating the school, the community, the families, the faculty, the teachers, and most of all, the students. And as part of this wonderful day, we have so many experiences. But one thing that we do, well, certainly we have the color run, which if it's going to be like as it has in previous years, there's a 5K option and a 1-mile option. So really, it could be a run, it could be a walk, whatever anyone is up for. And we have other things planned as well. In previous years, the fire department and emergency services were there. We have trooper support. There was one year that the trooper that led the charge was playing Eye of the Tiger, blasting out of his cop car. So it's really a wonderful event. But to make it happen, we do need to have part of the road closed by the school so that the run can happen on the road. And so I'm here to request approval of that, notification of that. We will be submitting a formal request through the county as well, obviously, to get that approved. And it's just going to be a wonderful event and just so fantastic that we can hold it again. So that's why I'm here.
Now, you were asking about the closure for Rocktown. I mean, do you have the timing schedule?
Oh, yeah. So the the event is between 10 and 1:30. The actual running is a relatively short period of time. It really depends a little bit on the timing of the day, arrival of the police assistants and just sort of how everything is going. But pretty much once the run is done, the roads get opened. So it's not like we close it off for that entire time period. We just close it off. We say 10 to 1 is sort of a chunk of time, but the run happens earlier in that time
Was that
time
coming
zone.
in through Kingwood? Is that the state police?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we reached out to them, Officer, I can never pronounce his name correctly, pardon me, Shot. He actually is familiar with it. They have our full support. They have supported it every time that we've had it in the past. And they're always excited to see the kids and everything. Yeah.
All right. Any questions? No? Bert? John, no?
Yeah, we're good.
Great.
All right, we're good.
Thank you very much, and we hope to see you all there.
Probably
Thank
walk.
you.
Yeah. All right. Next is standing committee report. How would this, let me go for it. This is going to be covering, because we didn't vote, was it, right, Krista? It wasn't voted,
We didn't do a motion.
a motion or
Yeah.
formal approval
Formal approval.
of volunteers. So this resolution is to approve the 2022 appointments, reappointments of volunteers, and township committee liaisons and personnel. I need a motion to approve the 2022 appointments and reappointments resolution. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? I'm
You
sorry.
gonna ask for comments?
Oh, all right, comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a
Sure.
comment. I'll be brief.
No, all right.
I believe it's a mistake to put Kit Christofoli on the planning board, and here's why. In an effort to preserve the rural nature of East Amwell Township, which included avoiding housing developments, several residents of East Amwell worked very hard on a project referred to as the Farm Project. At the Township Committee meeting where the Farm Project was presented to the public, several residents and non-residents commented negatively on the project. Following that public meeting, Kit Christofoli exchanged the following messages on Facebook with Jeff Spencer and Andrew Van Doren. Jeff Spencer, and I quote, "What is the story behind this, Kit?" And he was referring to that Township Committee meeting where we discussed the Farm Project. Kit, ha, a Township Committee that went sideways and showed what some of our politicians think of us. Jeff Spencer, should I load up the side slinger and head for Town Hall? Kit, ha, I would say Town Hall, but probably have a few other locations for you. Jeff Spencer, time to armor the bulldozer. Kit, yes, spelled with 5 Y's, 6 E's, and 7 S's. Andrew Van Doren, Van Doren Welding LLC specializes in heavy equipment repair and armament. When I raised this threatening Facebook exchange at a prior township committee, Kit sat in the audience and laughed, which he's doing now. If you believe I'm exaggerating, it's on the video of the meeting, and you can witness it now. Should we be appointing to our planning someone who expresses his disagreement with a proposed plan, not by presenting arguments against the plan, but by threatening violence against our municipal building and a few other locations, referring, of course, to the homes of those who worked on the farm project? I believe the answer is clearly no. It's beyond comprehension that we would encourage, or worse yet, reward that type of behavior. Thus, while in the end the mayor has the sole discretion regarding this appointment, I want to express my strong objection to appointing Kit Christofoli to the planning board. Those are my comments.
Okay, anybody else? Newly noted. So,
Sorry, I have a question to
Sure.
back it up. So, this is a long list of the volunteers and stuff. Are some of these like some of these you appoint or some of these you as mayor appoint or some of these we appoint as township? Is there a, you know?
It's a combination of the two,
So
Jen.
it's,
But they like to get the input of everyone.
okay,
The Board of Health, for example, requires the approval of the Township Committee.
okay,
Certain members of the Planning Board are
It depends
sole
by
discretion of the mayor, others are Township Committee.
okay. And we normally just put them all on a list to kind of.
Right, but what was it, there wasn't a motion at the,
Yeah,
Okay.
so, we can
That's
do it
right.
all at once.
right,
We touch base with
Okay.
Frank
Right.
and,
Got it,
got
okay.
advice.
Catching up still, so.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
all right. So can I have a motion to approve the 2022 appointments and reappointments?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, I'm in favor with the exception of Kit Christofoli.
All right, duly noted. Anyone opposed? So you did it. All right, we're good. And I need a motion to accept the resignation of Ann Del Campo, and we're going to accept it with regrets. Can I have a motion to accept her resignation?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay. We're probably gonna do something for Ann, write up or whatever next month.
She's done a lot in the community.
Right, so, well, probably, that's right, for next month, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, just want to put that. All right, so we have open to the public. Can I have a motion to open the public, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Now open to the public? Tim?
Tim Willie, chairperson of East Amwell Township Planning Board, 25 Bird Lane. Hi, everybody. I first would like to apologize for the cancellation of the public meeting last night on such short notice, but Elena was sick with a fever and didn't want to have her here, so we all know what that's about. But I apologize for the short notice. I did attend, I think everybody's had time to read the amendment for Ringo's. I did attend the, excuse me, the Ringo's Advisory Committee meeting on Monday. They went through the whole thing, especially like I have printed out. I didn't print everything because it's like a lot of pages, but 42, the meat of it's 42 to 52 is the meat of it. The land use and zoning issues and recommendations. The committee discussed all of them, and there was a few verbal changes that they want to add, but they are really happy with the way things are looking on it. I think the big one is the sliding scale, which I hope is going to work out for Krista. I don't know. I haven't.
Like an input,
I don't know how that's
I'll be
going to
the one
work out
using
for Krista, but I think the residents are happy that we're going to try to do something to change, make it easier for things to happen in the village. Like I said, they seem to be in favor with most of everything that's been written up so far in Elena's thing. So that's a good thing. Looks like progress. That's a great thing. The village, I just looked at a house that's for sale the other night. It's not worth, the cost to tear it apart and get the oil tank out of the ground is not worth what that piece of property is worth. But while I'm there, I'm looking out the backyard and I'm looking at, my son and I were looking at the property, and we go in the backyard, there's a trailer next door that has a power line run to it with a tarp over it. Like there's people living in a trailer in the village, like.
Where?
Right there, right there. It's I mean, I'm not sure if they're living there right now, but it's a trailer with a electrical cord, power going to it, temporary power, but it's power.
Tim, call me, let me know.
I will, but I'm just saying, I look to buy a piece of property there, and I can't afford to buy it because it costs more to get it to just a sheer building lot than it's worth. We need to work on the village, and I think we're making progress, and I think that's good. So hopefully we can expand and
I think I know what it is.
going into the township and moving forward with the master plan. I personally I'm very happy that Kit's coming on the planning board. We have this issue with farmers thinking that they're not represented on our planning board. We have Marnie, who's a horse farmer. We have Mike Mills, who's, I haven't seen his operation, but he's a hoop house grower. I don't know what else he grows there. I haven't seen his property. I've been to Kit's property. I've seen his hay operation. I think if we're trying to help our farmers in this township, which is how this farm project all started, before the 25-acre bull started, if we're trying to help our farmers, we need them on our planning board. They need to be a part of this. They don't need to be coming to these meetings thinking that they're not represented. They need to be represented. If we're going to continue to maintain farming in this township, which everybody seems to be in agreement for, we need to have them on our planning board, and we need to hear their voices, and we need to know that they're represented in that forum. And I'm glad that Kit's coming on. Thank you. I appreciate you volunteering. Nobody said it was going to be easy. You know, I didn't promise you that. But I think the future is looking promising. I really do. I think the master plan's is gonna work out well. It's already started well with the Ringo's section of it, and you know, thank you for your support on it. Hopefully, the budget can pay for it. We have to have this thing done as per the state by the end of '23, I believe. So we've got a little, edge room that way as far as paying for it and doing it, but the Ringos had to be done because we had the grant money. And from what I've heard from Krista and Margaret, we've had a voucher, so we're getting that money. So, yay, that's a good thing. It's 18 grand we didn't have to pay to have something done that I think is, like I said, the Ringos Advisory Committee is all about it. They're all positive on it. So, a couple of verbiage things. It's really minor, so it's all good. So. But on that, thank you all very much. On a side note, Mr. Wolf, at the January planning board meeting, you read a statement and you mentioned several times about money that I donated to Chris Sobieski's re-election campaign. So everybody, yeah, that's me. I donated some money to Chris Sobieski. My wife and I paid $150 to attend the fundraiser. And I set up tents that I own, party tents. I set them up. My son helped me. Other people from the campaign helped me. So Chris had to put in a number. Did I spend $500? Even if I spend $1,000, what does that mean to? Why did you have to bring that up several times when you read that letter to me when I was sitting up there as the chair of the planning board? I don't understand. What does that have to do with anything? I helped Chris out. I think he's a good guy. I commend him on running and being a part of our township committee. I think we need young people involved. That's why I think it's good that Kit's getting involved. We need young people. I'm an old son of a gun. I don't want to do this forever. I want young people to back me up. And I'm disappointed that you thought that was important. But I'm telling the people, yeah, I gave $500 to Chris's, $150 to go to a fundraiser, and I donated my tents and my labor. So it was $500. Did I ask you what you and your wife donated to Jenna's campaign? No, I don't care. It's irrelevant. So I don't think it needs to be that big of a deal. And you should think about that.
Anybody else? Francis?
Later than usual, sorry. Francis Gavigan, 123 Wurtsville Road, Ringgoes, New Jersey. I'm glad that there's something actually finally happening in the village. I've been here since '95, so I think there have been 3 initiatives, studies, and other things that didn't come to diddly squat. I'll be clean. And finally, it looks like there's going to be something done. However, there is a root cause, as they say in the pharmaceutical or any business practices area, is that we've got seriously deteriorated housing stock that has been tied up in litigation for the whole time I've been here. There are multiple parties, and what happens when you don't have anything coming out of conflict other than lawyer bills, things deteriorate. So what can we do to try to find some people with deep pockets, you know, calling all billionaires, come invest here in an historic property in the village of Ringo to build up our stock? I don't know how, but I think it would be a nice idea for someone within the township or whatever to explore. There are one thing that I realized at the West Amwell marijuana stuff was that they did studies, their zoning officer did studies on what they perceived as a blighted area. I think it's really pretty clear as to what are the blighted properties in Ringo's and even up 31, up towards past Brian Giles and other places, to where for whatever reason they're slowly subsiding back into the sod. What can we do? The only thing I can think of other than oligarchs, come here, please. We'll take your money and then seize whatever you've left, is to get the people to try to restore it or buy it or use it and do what we can to provide incentives or support. The same thing the farmers essentially need in the tough times that they're facing, in would be regulatory kind of relief in maybe fees or different things, that kind of stuff. And there might be federal money for blighted areas that have been designated. I don't know, but just something to put on your to-do list. The other thing is I brought up a little bit last night at the planning board, and I commend him for what he's put up with over the years and what he puts up with, including me. But it's collegial and it's nice and it's pleasant. When my oil company and I came to an agreement last summer that I would buy this much oil and I would pay this much money. I overbought because it's kind of what I am. But as of April 15th, the money and the price per gallon of $2.69, it's $4.99 as of today, is going to go poof. I've talked to my oil company about, hey, could some of the extra money and the price that I've got squirreled away be used for a veteran or a senior or someplace that really needs it? Is there someone in East Amwell that for whatever reason, pride or whatever, doesn't go to the government handout, or who could have benefit from a hand up? You know, I've got less than a month to do that, and there are maybe other people who have overbought their oil rather than get a surprise that might be having some extra left over. If we could, and this might be something you talk to the county about, Mayor, that they've got an idea of who needs help, who could do with something, and maybe as a community we can come together and pony up, either whether it's pony up to help them with a gift or pony up to help at less than half, because it's going to go up even more. You know, I talked to somebody yesterday, and $2.69 a gallon was like manna from heaven. And my oil company came today, so I asked them. So if someone here in East Amwell really needs some oil, because I don't want anybody to be cold or freezing or whatever, you know, karma's karma, and what goes around comes around. And, you know, I've gotten kicked down and a whole lot of other things, and I still get up. And I think some of it is I've got a good karmic balance for a recovering Catholic. Anyway, think about it. If you've overbought yourself or have a cushion, think if somebody in your community, Frank or whatever, you know, we help one another, and then let's help the poor folks in Ukraine. That's it. And I didn't get called down for 10 minutes.
Anyone else from the public want to speak? No? Can I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next, you're
No, you go.
gonna give it to me? All right. Consent agenda items, all matters listed below are considered to be routine by the Township Committee and will be enacted by one motion in the form of listed below. There will not be a separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, any item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered immediately after approval of the consent agenda item. Can I have a motion to approve all of the above resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call?
Ms. Casper Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Mills,
Yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
and Mr. Castellano.
Yes. Next, we have a resolution. Rick, you want to take this? Who wrote it?
Yes. I'm sure, like many of you, I am very disturbed by what's going on in Ukraine. And while the Township Committee really isn't in a position to do anything meaningful to prevent what's going on, I thought it would be a useful endeavor for us to adopt a resolution supporting the people in Ukraine. If it's okay, I'd like to read the resolution.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It's a resolution strongly condemning the Russian invasion of Ukraine and calling upon East Amwell Township residents and businesses to boycott Russian-made products. Whereas on September 4th, 2022, Vladimir Putin directed a full-scale military invasion by Russia of the sovereign nation of Ukraine. Whereas this invasion is the largest conventional military attack on a sovereign nation in Europe since World War II. Whereas under the direction of Vladimir Putin, the Russian military has engaged in a brutal and indiscriminate attack against the Ukrainian people, including innocent victims, by using outlawed cluster bombs and cruise and ballistic missiles, and by shelling major population centers. Whereas the world has witnessed the courage and perseverance of the Ukrainian people in the face of this evil and unprovoked attack directed by Vladimir Putin. Whereas the global community understands that Vladimir Putin's annexation of the free and independent nation of Ukraine cannot be accepted. Whereas major nations, global businesses, and organized sports have come together to stand against the Russian invasion of Ukraine, including by imposing coordinated and unprecedented sanctions against Russia, Vladimir Putin, the Russian oligarchs, and Russian industries and businesses. Whereas a defender of freedom, the United States and its citizens must take a strong stand against Vladimir Putin's plans to lay claim to broad areas of Eastern Europe, starting with Ukraine. Whereas depriving Vladimir Putin, his oligarch associates, and the Russian military of money and other financial resources is critical to stopping Putin's ongoing aggression against the Ukrainian people. And whereas New Jersey has the fourth largest Ukrainian American population in the United States, and has millions of residents who care deeply for and stand strongly in support of the Ukrainian people. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of East Amwell Township that the Township Committee, number one, condemns in the strongest possible terms Vladimir Putin's violent and unprovoked attack of the people of Ukraine. Two, strongly supports Ukraine, its people, and its leaders during this horrific invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Three, endorses any and all economic sanctions imposed by the United States, other countries, global businesses, and others on Russia. Four, insists that Russia immediately ceases its violent, illegal, and immoral assault upon Ukraine. And five, calls upon the residents and businesses of East Amwell Township to stop purchasing And in the case of businesses selling products imported from Russia, including Russian spirits and Russian petroleum products, until the Russian military withdraws from the free and independent nation of Ukraine without conditions. By the order of the Township Committee, Mark Castellano, Mayor.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the previous resolution read by Rick?
So moved.
Second.
Oh. All right. You got that?
Yes.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, thank you. Okay.
Can I please have the .5 read once more?
Yes. Calls upon the residents and businesses of East Amwell Township to stop purchasing, and in the case of the businesses selling, products imported from Russia, including Russian spirits and Russian petroleum products, until the Russian military withdraws from the free and independent nation of Ukraine without conditions.
As I understood it, the Russian petroleum
Hold it,
product.
hold it. We're not open to the public yet. Hold that
Comments,
thought.
please.
Hold that thought. All right. Employee benefit package, no, unfinished business. Interim CFO, we're, as everybody knows, our current CFO will be retiring in July, hopefully. Or not hopefully, hopefully she extends it to July. So we're doing a search for an interim CFO to help mentor somebody in training here, so.
We have an interview.
We have, yeah. Jenna? Landis?
Landis, yeah, so I talked to a couple title companies, I don't know if you.
I sent it, I haven't gotten a reply yet.
Okay, so Chris is checking with someone too. So I have two quotes right now. One of them is from a title company I use a lot for when I do real estate transactions. It's Foundation Title, and they estimated 2,000, but they wanted to say 2,500 to make sure to cover, in case anything came up. I gave them the prior searches that had been done, but they want to double check everything, which I understand, and so they're estimating 2,500. I spoke to another title company, which is Surrey Coastal Title, who I've also used. I didn't personally use them, but I've done transactions where they've been involved, and their quote was closer to 1,000 because I believe they're going to use what was done before to kind of do it and then run with the title. So you guys, the Township Committee started this title search before I was involved, so I think it comes down to how much we put faith in what was done previously with the title search. But those are the couple options I've got right now. And I'd be curious to see what Krista's contact has too. That's kind of where we're at.
Jenna, what was done previously had mistakes in it.
Okay.
John Allen has ferreted out the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to go back to the person who did the title search and see if that person would take the material, correct the mistakes, and provide a proper title report. I asked John whether this person is still licensed. He was licensed once upon a time because I don't know that we can use his work if he's not licensed. So I'm waiting to hear back from John on that. It's possible that we could get him to finish it. His price was $750.
Okay.
But if we could get it done for $750 or $1,000, then I think we're good to go. Because I think we put $1,000 in the budget for that, maybe a little more than that.
It's 1,100, 1,100 something, right?
Yeah.
1,000.
So, and if it comes in at 1,200 or 1,300, I'll find a way to make up the difference. We'll raise the money.
Okay.
But I would like to get this going, because
Yeah.
what would be nice is if we could get this into court in time for them to get out there and get this cleaned up before next winter.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be good. Okay.
But I'll follow up with John. He and I were emailing last weekend and see where he is. But the company that's willing to do it for $1,000, if we can't get moving with this existing fellow, let's go. And even if they run a little over $1,000, we'll find the extra money.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I didn't get anything yet. Fine.
All right. Thank you for the update.
Yep.
John, you got an update on the
Yes, I
the Van Luz Bridges and Rainbow Bridge?
I do.
Rainbow Hill?
Yeah, this was a question that was raised yesterday at the planning board meeting, but I know many residents are wondering themselves. This is what we got from Tom Matthews from the county. He's the county engineer. And I'm gonna read it verbatim. The Van Luz Bridge is still in the permitting phase. The consultant hired to design the project has had some staffing issues, which I'm told has been rectified. We are pushing them to catch up to the intended schedule due to the inconvenience of the bridge closure. We would like for the bridge to go out to bid for construction this year with a 2023 opening date. Okay, now that was Van Loo. Few comments on Rainbow Hill. The Rainbow Hill Bridge will be our next emergency contract we put out. The intention is to begin repairs this spring and have it reopened before school begins in late August. So that's what I have on those two projects.
Rick, you got something on Region 9?
Yes.
All right, you're up.
They were going to come in this evening to do a presentation, but they were thrown a curveball about a week ago in terms of their numbers, so they're reworking their numbers, and they're going to come in April because they don't want to do a presentation until they have a relatively hard set of numbers. But tonight I can lay a foundation so that when they do come in next month, they can hit the ground running. So what I'd like to do tonight is just give a little bit of background on the senior housing project, as we refer to it. We have an opportunity to kill a couple of birds with one stone. And I'll give a little bit of background. New Jersey as a state has done a horrible job dealing with affordable housing. The legislature has been frozen literally for decades. So the Supreme Court of New Jersey stepped in and in a case called Mount Laurel said in layman's terms, each municipality has an obligation to provide its fair share of affordable housing. And we, through a process with an organization called Fair Share, have an obligation to provide now approximately 87 affordable housing units. That doesn't mean that the municipality has to spend the money to provide them, but we have to provide areas where 87 affordable housing units could be located. And we did that. We have 4 plots in East Amwell upon which affordable housing could be built. They're in the Ringo's Village, and then there are the so-called Thompson parcels along 202 that back up onto Dutch. We need senior housing in this area, affordable senior housing. I don't think anybody who lives here would seriously dispute that. And certainly if you've knocked on doors of people, and I've done a lot of that, you hear from residents, our seniors, that we need senior housing. So an opportunity has presented itself to earn points with Fair Share in terms of providing affordable housing and working toward our 87 unit target and help providing affordable senior housing. And that's via what I call the senior housing project in the village. I was approached about 2 years ago by an outfit called Region 9 Housing. Region 9 Housing is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3, meaning you could make deductible charitable contributions. It's a charitable organization, and its mission is to provide affordable housing to families and to seniors. They did a study of this area. If you score a 10 in that study, you have a need for senior affordable housing. the lower your score, the better. East Amwell's score was less than 1. We have a real need for affordable senior housing. So Region 9 purchased the house with the purple shutters that is south of the firehouse on John Ringo Road. That house, surprisingly, sits on almost 7 acres because the lot goes back and over. It actually goes back and behind the firehouse and over. They are proposing to build 24 senior housing units. It will be a single building. They actually sent me a picture yesterday of what it will look like. I'll send that to Krista and she can put it in the drive. It's actually a very pretty. You have it?
Well,
it's a very pretty looking structure. The units, the 24 units will be 625 square, well, 620 or 625 square feet each. There will be a senior rec area for recreation. They are going to take the house that is there, and their plan is to convert that into 2 additional affordable units, so we may wind up with 26. They have to go to the planning board for a variance. They've already come to the planning board and did a preliminary presentation and received a warm reception from the planning board. They also came to the Township Committee prior to, I don't know if you were on, Mark, but prior to Tara, Jenna, and John, also received a warm reception. I posed the question because I'm a tax lawyer, so I think about taxes. What tax revenue are we going to lose? Because when a nonprofit buys a piece of property in New Jersey and uses that in furtherance of its exempt purpose, the property comes off the property tax rolls. Now, if this property came off the property tax rolls, the hit to us would be probably about $800, which isn't much, but every dollar counts in East Amwell. I say that because their property taxes are around $8,000 and we keep about 10%. So the downside is we would lose $800 in property tax revenue. However, as it turns out, there's an exception to the general rule about nonprofit properties coming off the property tax rolls, and that exception applies when the property is being used for affordable housing. And this is where it gets really fun. If the property is being used for affordable housing, it does come off of the property tax rolls, but the township can enter into an agreement with the nonprofit called a pilot agreement, P-I-L-O-T, payment in lieu of taxes. Those things are very popular in New York City when you lease land from the city. It comes off the property tax rolls because it's owned by the city, but you enter into a pilot agreement. We can enter into a pilot agreement with Region 9, and they are prepared to do that with us. I'm working with them on the numbers, but under that pilot agreement, in the first year, and the number will grow each year, but in the first year, based on their projections for the property, and our pilot payment is taxed on their, or is based on the revenue from the property, but based on their projections, and I think their projections are conservative and we'll actually do better than this, we would get property tax of about $9,500 to $10,000. But here's what makes it really fun. Unlike regular taxes, where we keep 10% and 90% goes to the county and the schools, etc., we keep 95%. 5% goes to the county as a quote-unquote administrative fee. So if we get $10,000, we keep $9,500, which means we're making 12 times more in taxes by having this in senior affordable housing than we are currently. So not only do we score points with fair share, which is very important, because fair share can make it very difficult on a municipality. We score a lot of points by putting 24 or 26 affordable units in East Amwell. We help the seniors because they now have an alternative. They don't have to leave East Amwell. They can stay. And we make more money. So I said to Mark Comroe, who's running this project for Region 9, can you bring me 3 more? He said, 1 at a time. There is no doubt whatsoever that this building will fill well in advance of being ready to be occupied. And because we're running the show, we can get the word out to our residents because it's first come, first served. I asked him whether we could favor East Amwell residents. Under New Jersey law, you cannot. However, because we're involved, we're going to know when the date is that they're going to start accepting applications, and we can let our residents know. We can really get the word out there and say, if you are interested, get it in now. We could even set up a booth here at the municipal building to help them fill out whatever paperwork has to be filled out. I'd be happy to sit at the booth for a few hours, help people fill out the paperwork, and we can get them in. But the pilot agreement would run for 30 years. And they're going to give us projections. We will get a set of projections that show the projected pilot payments to the municipality. They're going to be a percentage of revenue. We're going back and forth on that a little bit. It's probably going to be somewhere around 3.5 to maybe 3.8% of revenue. I'm going through their numbers very carefully. They're a nonprofit, so they're not looking to generate a profit off of this. The project is going to cost, well, the number keeps going up, but it's probably going to cost in the neighborhood of $8 million to build. They're working on getting what we call a $6 million grant. But it's not really a grant, it's a loan. They would get a $6 million loan. But it's the type of loan that it's called a loan, but they're not really obligated to repay it. It's not like your mortgage loan where if you miss a payment, the government comes in and forecloses.
How do I get one of those?
So,
It's like the rest squad bill.
so they're working with DCS on getting the paperwork done for the grant. They will need a few things from us. They'll need a letter of support from the mayor. They'll need a resolution from the Township Committee saying we support this. They'll need us, it appears, to amend our settlement agreement with Fair Share to designate that property for affordable housing. And they've already talked to the head of Fair Share, and he's thrilled about this, so we're not expecting any issues. And then they also need to show that the municipality is providing some financial support. And that's where things get a little bit sticky. But I'm working on that with them, and I'm working with Margaret. We have money in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. A lot of that's spoken for already, but we may be able to provide a little bit out of that. They're not looking for much. They just want to be able to say that the municipality has provided some financial support. we're talking probably thousands, not tens of thousands. And we do have that in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Whenever anybody builds a house in East Amwell, you have to pay into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
1.5%.
Yeah, when Kathy and I built our house, we had to pay into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And there's $127,000 in that fund. In my mind, probably 110 of that is spoken for, but we do have some money to apply toward this. So I think this is a great thing for the township. I think it's great for our seniors. It will help us a lot with fair share. In 2025, which is not that far away, we have to go and negotiate a new settlement agreement with fair share. We'll be going into that, you know, with the wind behind our back. This will help a lot. Fair share was not expecting East Amwell to generate 24 or 26 affordable housing units. They would be thrilled if we had generated a handful. They recognize that we're not a community that has a huge demand for that. We have no jobs in East Amwell. We have no public transportation. It's a place where you have to travel by car. It's not a place where, outside of senior affordable, there's a huge demand for affordable housing. In fact, the units we have, when they go empty, sometimes we have to wait a while to fill them. Delaware Township has the same issue. So this would give us, this would score us a lot of points with fair share, which is important. And we actually make money.
What's the timing on this?
Well, that's a good question, Mark. It's in part dependent on how long it takes them to pull together the money. Once the money's pulled together, they have plans. They've been working with an engineer, Golden Bound Bale. They've been working with Hunter and Horizons, which would help them with the septic design and the grading. They have plans for the house. They're working with, or I shouldn't say for the house, but the housing.
It's nice looking.
It's very nice looking. They need the money.
Are we talking closer to a year and a half, or are we talking closer to 5 years?
I would say closer to the 1.5 than 5 years, but they can give you a better sense of that. They're supposed to get, they were supposed to have a couple weeks ago relatively hard numbers from contractors. That got pushed off, which is why this got pushed off. Those numbers are supposed to come in next week, and then they'll be in a better position to get the information that's needed for the grant, the loan. They're coming in for a variance for the planning board. Hopefully that will not be a painful process for them. And they can tell us next month how long they expect to complete it. It's stick-built, so once you get people there, it'll go up. It's just getting the money and getting the people there.
Is the loan a federal or state loan?
As far as I know, it's state.
State.
They're getting loans from two sources. One they have locked up. It's an affiliate that will be loaning. It's another arm of the nonprofit. And but the lion's share of it's coming from this $6 million, what we call grant.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll give you more detail next month. They are legit. They have other housing projects in New Jersey. You could go onto their website.
You're in Clinton, right?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Hampton?
Yeah.
They have several of them. If you go on their website, they do nice projects. They do very nice projects. They have a good reputation. Because I did some diligence on them before I started down this road. Because affordable housing runs the range from those that are very ethical to those that are very unethical. And I didn't want to spend time with one that's not ethical. These folks have a good reputation. And they've been very open. When I ask for numbers, they give them. When I ask for granular numbers, they give them. They've been very open with us about the projections for the project and what they're expecting. And you should feel free to ask them any questions you want. They are very open.
Okay.
They even sent me their Form 990, which is the tax return for the nonprofit, because I wanted to see, are they really a nonprofit? And I have their 70-some-odd page 990. They have not said no to any requests that I've made for information. Any other questions?
No. Sounds positive.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
Their president and their head of development are supposed to come next month.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right, now we're open to public. I need a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are now open to the public. Tim?
Tim Willie, Chair of the East Amwell Planning Board, 25 Bird Lane, Hopewell.
Nice to meet you, Tim.
So this, Region 9, last the planning board heard about this has been over a year ago, first of all. But I think, I don't know why there's only one person dealing with these people. The planning board has tried to be pro-transparent, and I don't think that having one person in charge of this big project going through all the information is where the township committee needs to be. The planning board is, we need transparency everywhere, all the way through. And I don't think you being in charge with being in communication, I think there should be a subcommittee on this whole thing so that everybody has this information coming in, not just one person dealing with this company. I don't think that's right. I really don't. And on a side note, Rick, you just said that there's no jobs in East Amwell? Okay, you don't hire anybody? There's nobody, you don't pay anybody? There's no jobs in East Amwell?
I have no employees.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people in this township that have employees. I, for one. So I don't know where you come off saying that there's no jobs in East Amwell. Like, where do you come off to saying that there's no jobs in East Amwell? There's businesses all over this township. There's farms all over this township that hire people. So where do you say where do you get off saying there's no jobs in this town? I don't get where you get off on that.
Relative to denser areas. we have
Relative,
very
we're a farming community, Rick. Isn't that your big push? We're a farming community? We're a farming community. There's jobs all over this township. So don't come off saying there's no jobs here. That's a bunch of bull.
Can you bring a list next time of the jobs that are here in the township?
I don't need to.
Yeah, you do.
I don't need to. Ask any one of the farmers that come to the committees that come out here. Yeah, they'll tell you how many people they have to hire. There's jobs here.
I don't see that many.
Well, you have blinders on then, Rick. You know
Well,
what?
bring
Go
me a
back
list,
to New
Tim.
York. Go back to New York where you freaking belong.
Well, Tim, I'm from
You know
Hazel.
what, Rick? You just have this high and mighty thing. You think there's no jobs here? What are you talking about? This is a vile community. Where do you get off saying there's no jobs here? I just don't understand where your mindset's at. I really don't.
Tim, I'm from Hazleton, Pennsylvania. I'm not from New York City.
I'm from Harborton, New Jersey, okay? I was born and raised here, spent 4 years away here in the U.S. Air Force. That's the only time I've been away from this area, okay? I've been in this township for 27 years now, okay? There's jobs here. I hire people. I employ people.
Bring me a list of the jobs.
Brian Parker, Jason Parker. I've got...
Bring me a list of the jobs.
Why would I waste my time? Why do I have to prove to you that? You spout in your mouth. You're spouting your mouth as a bunch of bullcrap, Rick.
I don't see them. Bring me the list.
Why do I have to justify jobs? Drive down my road and see who people are hiring. There's tree companies. There's landscape businesses. My business. There's people. They're painting businesses. There's jobs in this township. The farms. I don't know where you get off saying there's no jobs here. What is that relevant to? I don't understand you.
What's relevant? It's relevant to how Fair Share assesses this.
I don't
community.
care about fair share, okay? I don't care. I care about you telling me and telling this public that there's no jobs here in East Amwell. There's jobs here because I hire people, and I'm proud that I do, okay?
Bring me a list.
I don't need to bring you a list. I don't need to justify anything to you, Rick Wolf. I don't need to justify anything to you.
Well,
Okay?
you do if you want me to believe that there are jobs
I
here.
don't care what you believe or what you don't. I'm just telling you what you shouldn't be saying to this township, that there's no jobs here. There's plenty of jobs here. Get a clue. Just because nobody, maybe because we're not hiring a bunch of lawyers for $200,000 a year, you think there's no jobs here. There's working American citizens here, okay? So get a clue.
Thank you, Tim.
Anybody else? Francis?
Francis Gavin, still 123 Woodsville Road, Ringgoes, New Jersey. I work here. I hire people. I hire people who hire people. Problem is, they got dirt under their nails and calluses on their hands, and they don't have BMWs or whatever the latest things are. They usually are driving a pickup truck, or professionals in local industries. This is a viable community, and it is a community. And I do want to echo, and I don't know if there is, Frank, a legal remedy to get the information that has been squirreled away for 2 years to the whole township and to the boards that will have to deal with it. And then maybe some lines of communication could be opened up. I think it might have been when you were mayor, but I don't think it's acceptable that now that you're not, and we do have a good committee and a good mayor and a really good planning board, that there not be more transparency. You know, I know seniors who are in danger of losing their housing. I hope that they would qualify. I hope that the rents for affordable housing, because of the median income in our area of what, 93.6 something or other, would not price the older, poor people who can't get around out of the market. But no matter what happens, if there's money that comes in, it's not just tax revenue. It's people in the heart of Ringgoes. It's the start of revitalization. It's foot traffic going to, you know, parks and games and different things like that. And I'm sure the county will come up with some link things. And I'm sure that there's all sorts of stuff. Costs can be lower if there are, you know, I know there's been, most of the boards have had preliminary theoretical discussions without a filing. And whether it's the Board of Health on the septic design, or planning board on what variances might be required, or any others, the, you know, senior services or different kinds of things that could help to make their life easier. Now, a question to ask Frank is, would giving application relief count as, you know, that in lieu of taxes kind of thing? So that you're not digging into your pocket and coming up with something to put on the table, but that you are granting them some waivers or some funding by way of not charging them so that they can do stuff like that. I would hope that we could do, as a community, some outreach to the seniors and to the local residents. And I'm sure by the time this evening is over, the East Amwell message boards and websites are going to be going Yahoo, and away we go. There's things that we can do. There's things that we can do now. What we can't afford is to just sit there and wait for Daddy to bring home the bacon. It ain't that kind of world anymore. And as far as adding Kit Crisafulli to the planning board who is also this year's chair of the Ag Advisory. That is a no-brainer. He is a good man. He's on the fire companies. He makes a really nice bale of hay. His wife contributes. What could, other than maybe not being a fan of somebody, disqualify him from public service? And, you know, I think we could all do better. And the last thing is, it's not just Russia. Russia went into Iraq or Iran or all of those sandy countries, and they did all the same things, and the world sat down and said nothing. Maybe because they were Muslim lives or they were enemies' lives or things like that. They've done the same thing to their own people. They have formed strategic alliances with people thinking that, oh, I will do this, I can break NATO. And surprise, surprise, ooh, he stuck his nose into something and it's getting snapped back because the citizens of the Ukraine and Poland and the EU and all over this country are saying no, because we can read the tea leaves. It's not just banned China, that Russia's, you know, I don't think we've even got a liquor store that's actually in our township. Their spirits. But personally, I'm not buying a goddamn thing from China. He sits back there, you know, their premiers and Xi Jinping and whatever, you know, they're going to carve up the world. And we've sat back and said, oh, well, it'll be cheaper if we manufacture it in China. And, oh, we'll take your intellectual property. You know, say no, stay American, whether they're Chinese American, Iraqi Americans, Muslim Americans, it's not about anything other than Americans. And he's gone now, but that is one hell of an American. And I have never seen him get irate. So that when you can poke the bear enough to frustrate a decent man like Tim Willey and the other working class folks, and not just our local oligarchs who may live on their estates or castles, that says something. You know, we need to be a community. I said it before. Let's help one another. Let's applaud the good ones, and that is a good one. The one behind him, Tim Matthews, is also a good one. I have no idea who the lady behind taking notes is, but she probably isn't. A bad one. Because the one thing I learned 20 years ago, when I worked for corporate America, Herc Celanese, who never bragged about never paying a penny in taxes, was that people do not, how do I put this? It takes energy to be an asshole and to fight with people. Am I an asshole? More than one occasion, I'm sure I am. But I'm not a bad asshole. You know? I've got Paul Mahone and different things like that. But it takes energy and it takes pathology, because you want to go home and be with your kids and your dog and watch the boob tube, every one of you. You don't want to miss your kids growing up. Tara doesn't. She's had some issues. You know, people are here because they think it's important that they come out and they participate and they play nice in the sand yard and they share. And we need more of that. And if you are always going on and bringing things up from years and years, and if you can't let it go, you know, that's not, something's lacking. You know? Oh, and by the way, I attended that fundraiser. I also attended fundraisers at your house, Rick, years ago. Don't think I'd be invited back. Jen or I haven't been invited to the EADA ones. I did try to join once, but I would have been disruptive to the EADA. You know, but just share, play nice. It's in the record now who at least this person is at Region 9, and I'd look them up. I was at the original presentation. Give them a call, say hi. Krista, you probably have access to whatever the documents are.
No, I don't.
Well, get it. You know, and let's just cut the crap, get on with getting the budget in and figuring out what are we going to do once Margaret retires and getting a CFO and being a place where people are going to be willing to come and work again. Because we are, as a township, on a lot of blacklists. Oh, you don't want to go there. Whether it's for real estate or for working for the municipalities. And if you need a name, I'm sure I can give you one. You know, a person with deep pockets who didn't like the way they were being treated, and they just wanted to have a 24-stall barn up on their 26 acres on Linvale Road that others wanted to be, oh, a walking trail to this, that, and the other. It cost her $1 million to get the water situation to be able to get an approval. And she was stubborn enough, and her husband, after all these years in the pharmaceutical industry, also was, and they paid it, and then they bought another property because they were going to win, but they weren't going to stay. And we've got to stop being a place where we go to war with everybody and that people will want to stay for the most part. So, Jenna, welcome to East Amwell. Always used to be calling it East Snotswell. But anyway, there are working people here, and I have the calluses to prove it. I don't have a pedicure or a manicure. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Francis. Anybody else in the public? Tim Matthews.
Good evening, everyone. Tim Matthews, 72 Linville Road. I just want to make an observation about something I attended last week that, you know, we've all been through a lot of stuff these last couple of years with the pandemic and now this invasion and politics that's going out of control. And I went to the play at Hunter and Central, the Les Mis play, and I got to tell you, I was blown away by these kids. And a lot of them were our kids from East Amwell. I mean, your daughter was fantastic.
Thank you.
And I walked out of there really with hope for the first time in a couple of years, actually. You know, being in the industry I'm in with standardized testing and seeing what's happened to the schools for these last couple of years and these kids having to stay home and sit behind a tube and not socialize. It was really refreshing to just see these kids work their ass off and put together such a production. And hopefully that's a sign of hope. It's a sign of spring, and hopefully it's a sign of better things to come. But I just wanted to share that because it really hit me hard. And I really feel for the kids today. And I'm glad to see some of our kids in East Amwell participating in something that's just not, you know, me behind a tube learning remotely. They did a hell of a job. So anything we can do to support, you know, activities for the kids. I know summer playgrounds coming up. You know, maybe we can expand that this year just to make it better. But I think that's our hope. We have you know, a lot of us have been around a long time. We've had our run. You know, I'm sometimes very, very saddened by the fact of where we are today in a lot of aspects. And it was very hopeful to me. So I just wanted to share that, and hopefully we could do more for our kids. So,
Thanks, Tim. Linda, you got something?
Me?
Yeah? You can come up.
You have to be a regular.
Yes, it's okay. My name is Linda Ramft, 148 Cider Mill Road. I was talking some about the resolution we have for Ukraine. I was pretty happy with the way we resolved it. I was sitting here and I'm just feeling like I'm afraid half the time to say something that I'm going to get yelled at. I don't think that's right, that I should feel that way. But I do. I mean, I hear other people and you've got these little arguments going back and forth between each other. I'm not used to that type of situation. I'm a very political animal, but I keep my voice pretty low. I don't yell. I don't say snide things about other people. And I was happy with what we resolved for earlier. But I still sit there and I'm thinking, you know, some of the things that are happening here, I have no idea what's going on. And I can't even figure out where I'm supposed to go to be able to find out at the beginning what's going on. Like when you brought up about the Region 9, was it, or something? I'm one of those senior citizens. I'm 75. No, I'm not looking to move into a 625 cubic square box. But you know, it's like, and that's why I was talking to Mr. Wiley. I'm saying, should I be going to the planning board? Is that where I could get some of the initial information? Yes, you will continue to see me here, and I'm hoping I'm going to become more familiar with each of you so that I don't feel afraid to talk. Krista's been wonderful with me. Mark was great with me. Tara was great with me. I'm afraid of you, Rick. I'm scared to death. So I don't know what else to say at this point, but it's just sort of to let you know that you've got some other people coming from the township. We will be watching, trying to help, trying to give you our opinions. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else from the public?
No,
With that?
I just want to, Linda and to everybody else, no one should be scared to talk. I mean, no one should be scared to say anything at these meetings, at all. I mean, I understand there are emotions sometimes, and there's history that I'm not all aware of and stuff, but I hate hearing that as being up here, that people are scared to talk, because, you know, come say what you want, I can take it, they can all take it, I'm sure. So, I hope you and anybody watching at home and stuff, I don't want anybody ever scared to come talk. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to listen to what you guys want, so please don't ever feel that way.
It's not that, I'm afraid of the retaliation. I'm not afraid to come up there and talk, but I'm not sure what's going to happen to me later on. Whether I won't be something said to me or make me feel bad later on. It's like I feel like I've got to watch every word so that I don't say something that might be
Come back and bite you in the ass.
provocative. You know, I've got a pretty good mouth, and I said things. I'm just used to being very upfront and open with the people, not have something behind my back that I made a mistake.
I understand what you're saying, and like I said, I'm sorry you feel that way, and I think we'll all be aware of that and try and work on that if our responses make anybody feel like that. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, too.
Anyone else from the public? All right, can I have a motion to close to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Mark, before you move on.
Yep.
I don't hide anything. I never have since I've been at this dais. Anybody wants to see the information on Region 9, just tell me. You can see whatever you want. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm trying to do something good for the community. I have a skill set that I think qualifies me to work on something like this. So I'm trying to use that skill set to benefit the community. If you don't want me doing it, if you want Frances to take it over, I'm fine handing it to Frances. She can take it over.
At least I'd share.
Anybody, I'm willing to share. No one has asked. It's not like this has been hidden. This has been out there for 2 years. Nobody's hidden this. Whatever people want, you can have. If somebody else wants to take it over, that's fine too. I'm fine with that. You want it, Mark? You want it, John? Take it. I'll give you all the material. You could pick it up and run with it.
Well, how about we do this? How about it goes through Krista, and if she can disseminate it, and then
whatever I get, I'm happy to send to Krista and disseminate it.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know how much meaning it's going to have to you, getting spreadsheets with a whole bunch of numbers, but I'm fine sending it to you, whatever you want. And if you want to take this, John, you can
I
have it.
don't think that's the issue. I think it's that nobody knew what was going on. Like, it wasn't discussed that you were in contact with them. I think that's the issue.
Well, I did detailed presentations on this
We haven't heard
some time ago.
about this in a long time.
Well, there hasn't been a lot happening in a long time, Krista. You know that. They've been off doing their thing, trying to get ready to come in for a variance.
I know, I'm just,
And it's only in the last few weeks that they sent me numbers, and I went through the numbers and asked them to come in to talk to you. So it's not like for the last year I've been working on this on a daily
I think
basis.
that's how some people are perceiving that.
Well, that's an incorrect perception. But whatever people want, I'm not looking to do things behind closed doors, and anybody wants to take this over, it's yours.
Well, I don't think that's the issue here. Nobody's doubting your skill and your, finesse with this. But I think putting the stuff in the drive would probably be dump it in, and what everybody wants to disseminate from it, they can. If they don't want to look at it, at least it's there when they want to.
Anything they send to me, I will send to Krista.
That's fair,
She will
that's
put
all.
it in the drive.
Let's put
And if
the rest.
at any point anybody is uncomfortable with me handling this, I'm fine handing it off.
I don't think that's by far that's not the issue at all, so.
I'm
but-
trying to do a good thing
No,
here.
and I don't think anybody's saying otherwise.
Well, that's not the impression I'm getting. So I'm just saying I'm fine turning over any and everything. There's nothing to hide here.
No, I don't think it is. I just think that.
You want their tax return? We'll put it in the drive.
Well, I'm saying, just give it to Krista to put in the drive, and then at people's choosing, if they want to look at it, they can look at it. If not, then fine, but at least it's there.
Take
That's
the
all.
folder and send everything to Krista
All right,
tomorrow.
that's fine. I think that resolves some doubts and stuff, so.
And
Right.
then if you want to post it, well,
No,
I don't know if
Their
we should be
draft
posting it.
no,
We shouldn't do that.
no, they're only draft, so.
I
I'd
don't
say
think we
no,
should
right,
be
Frank?
posting.
No.
I don't think they'd be comfortable
No,
posting.
no, that's fine. So it goes in the drive and then, all right? Onto the bills of the evening. John, did you have a chance
I had a
to?
chance to look at it. I also discussed with Krista before the meeting started. Nothing's out of ordinary there. Looks all in line. Couple of comments on the administrative reports, but
All right, hang on, let's do the
Oh, wait,
approval of the bill.
Down there, John.
I know, right? Can I have a motion to approve the bills of the evening, please?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I gotta do a
Opposed?
roll call.
Oh,
Sorry. It's Pam's.
wasn't sure which
Can't
one
have
it
it all
was. I
screwed up in
I
her.
thought it was this one, so, all right.
Ms. Gasparoum,
Yes.
Mr. Mills,
yes.
Mr. Wolf,
Yes.
Mr. Casano.
Yes. The administrative reports. So, John, you got,
Thank you.
there you go.
Um,
How did I know that?
So, just real quick, everybody knows that the reports from the state police in Kingwood are hard to get.
We got one today.
We got it. It's not gonna look like this going forward.
I'd like to comment on that. She has to manually do that, and it takes her hours.
I know it.
There's a
I know
reason
it-
for that.
It sounds as if the state police is going to be moving on to a different vendor. They're having a lot of difficulty
Okay.
extracting the data out of the current records management system.
I was gonna ask if we could not let her do that.
No, I don't think that's the issue. You know?
Well, we'd like to get something. I know we weren't able to get the summonses, but we just want to take a peek at this report to see if there's anything.
She said just go through mounds and mounds and mounds of tickets to get that
That's-
information.
If you get for a low bid.
Well, Cindy's great, so.
I know. I said that was
I'll buy her
ridiculous
a
that she
cup
had
of
to do that.
coffee. We'll
She
settle
deserves
it
a
with
dinner,
her.
John.
So is anything sticking out on that? or-
Nothing really sticking out. You know, the number of alarms are a little high, 8 alarms. Doesn't necessarily mean anything because we haven't really been getting these reports to see if that's been a trend or not. But I did sit down recently with Ray Lally, who's the Assistant Station Commander at Kingwood, and I thought it would be important to introduce him to Chris Kane, who's the chief at Delaware, and just to talk a little bit about some of the issues that the residents have spoken about, namely John Ringo's Road and speeders. So those two guys now have a relationship, and now they can call each other, and I will prompt them, but without having a police department here, it's difficult, and we need to rely on these other agencies. So we're lucky we have folks that are so receptive. But if there's anybody out there who has an issue, I know the protocol is to hit Jason with a concern, and he relays it to me. I have no problem if you want to directly email me either. That's fine. But we'll tackle this as best that we can.
All right.
That's it.
Good. All right, can I have a motion to approve the administrative reports?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. There being no further business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm opposed, I want to stay.
Okay, you know what? Rick, just turn the lights off.
I'll
That's it.
shut you all
All right,
out.
we're
That's
now
how I do it at the
adjourned.
planning board.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.